Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. I am Chris Holman, and we're coming to you from our Capital Region International Airport studios. And I have a special guest today, someone who we've actually utilized his expertise quite a bit over the last few years, certainly. Welcome our good friend, Bill Burke, who is an author, a coach, speaker, former Michigan State University quarterback, and I might say a wonderful guy. So, Bill, welcome to the show. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for the invitation, Chris. Really happy to be here.
Well, it's good to have you here, and we've had you as a speaker in a couple of other capacities. Tell us a little bit about your career, and then we'll make sense of all this.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, I'm a keynote speaker. I'm a peak performance coach and an author as well. And really, my mission through all this, and it was born out of the authoring of my book. Really, my mission is to help individuals and leaders and organizations with something that I call identity inflation and breakthrough activation.
There you go. Okay, so that was the important piece of it for us. You are a former quarterback. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a former quarterback also. Uh,
I did know
I
that.
was at high school. You were you were at a Big Ten university and did extremely well there. So you've agreed now, and I don't know if this is good judgment or not, Bill, but you agreed to do kind of a mini series for the Michigan Business Network. Let's talk a little bit about that. It's going to be called The Business of Breakthrough, and this is going to be really essential for business leaders, actually. Tell me a little bit about what this is going to be.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this series because it tackles something every organization is chasing, and that's breakthrough performance. Every company wants things like innovation and ownership and people stepping up, but most organizations, I think, go about it the wrong way. They focus primarily on skills and systems and strategy. And don't get me wrong, those things matter, but they're not the real driver. So the business of breakthroughs is really about uncovering the hidden factor behind real performance jumps. And that factor, from where I sit, is actually identity. So in this series, we're going to explore how people's internal identity, how they see themselves, quietly determines the level that they perform at, the risks that they take, the problems they solve, and the responsibilities that they ultimately assume. Because I think when identity expands, performance expands.
So you know, a lot of organizations actually, like you said, invest heavily in what training, skill development, et cetera. Why do those efforts sometimes fail to produce what they need?
Well, I think because skills don't change behavior if identity hasn't changed. And what I mean by that is organizations will spend sometimes millions of dollars on leadership training and sales training and communications training, but then they're surprised when very little actually changes. And I think the reason is simple. People will only perform up to the level of the identity they believe they hold. And sometimes that's not known to them. They're unaware of it. So if someone has the skills of a leader, but still sees themselves as just an employee, they won't step up. They won't take ownership. They won't challenge the problems. And so identity really sets that ceiling, and skills only really help you perform inside that ceiling. So if organizations really want to break through from their people, they can't just develop skills. They have to expand how people actually see themselves.
You know, and you talk about this identity as a kind of a hidden driver. Tell us a little bit more about that and how it works to influence people and really how they come to work.
Well, workplace identity is simply the role, obviously, that believes they play inside the organization. And it's not the title on their business card necessarily, but it's the role they believe they're responsible for. And for example, so if two people might have the exact same job inside an organization, but one sees themselves as just someone who completes the tasks, but while the other person sees themselves as somebody responsible for actually improving the business as a whole, same job, but completely different identity. And the difference really in behavior is massive. So identity shapes the behavior and the initiative, the ownership, the creativity, and the leadership long before the skills ever even come into play.
Bill, we're getting down to the wire here, but when employees start seeing themselves differently in I guess the role they play as leaders and problem solvers, that changes do you typically see inside an organization?
In short, you really start to see initiatives show up everywhere. People stop waiting for permission or to be told what to do. They start looking for ways themselves to figure out how to solve problems. And I think people don't need to be pushed at that point to act like leaders, but they actually see themselves as leaders. So the action just naturally follows.
Well, listen, first of all, you got a plethora of information, and I'm not going to get it out of you in 6 minutes, which is why we are going to this mini series. Bill Burke will be hosting it, running the show, and we're going to come back with the first episode here very soon. It's going to be called The Business of Breakthrough, and it is going to help every manager, every CEO, everybody in a position of authority out there. And we thank you so much for doing this. And Bill, we will be right back with your first installment. So thanks for joining us, and thanks for jumping into the network.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, we're going to be right back. You're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman.